This is for the train project, and we're going to be creating the stack. So first things first, we're going to create a 2D sketch on our XY plane. And we're going to create this in kind of two main portions. Our first portion is kind of to make this shaded region, but extending it out to ignore this hole that was cut into it, using these dimensions right here. Then after we revolve, we're going to use the hole tool and cut in the second portion. Alright, so we're going to go to line, and I'm going to turn it into a center line, so then when I revolve the piece later on, the part knows where the center line should be. So I'm going to click on the origin and go right up, and my dimension for this, if we look at our drawing over here, is 1.75. It's going to go right up, 1.75. Alright, so it's off the screen, so I'm going to press home. Next, I'm going to put in this bottom piece, but as we can see here, our center line tool is still selected. We don't want to have all the lines to be center lines, we just want to have this first one. So I'm going to unselect it, so make sure it's not blue anymore. Click here, here, and then I'm going to go up. I know I didn't mention this part yet, but I will in a second. When I go up, I need to make sure I have in the proper dimension. So that is right here. So that is a 1/4 inch. So 0.25. Alright, now I'm going to show you that dimension that I kind of skipped the first time. So the reason for that is I can click on this line, click over here, and then click down. Now I can type in my dimension for the diameter on the bottom. So the diameter on the bottom is right here. So that is 0.5. Next, I'm going to add in my line for this edge. Alright, I'm not going to dimension it as I'm placing it in, because the dimension isn't the length of this line, it's where this little edge is placed. So I'm going to go from the very bottom to that end, and then click. And let's see, our dimension is 1.5. Alright, it's still green because it's not fully constrained, so I'm going to click on my point, click on my center line, and then move my line down. I know it's off the screen a little bit. So that is a little harder to tell where it is, but it's actually this dimension right here. So that is 1.25. Alright, now it's blue and fully constrained. The next two lines I'm going to place in, I'm going to do kind of all at once, because it makes it just easier to put in our angle here. So the number of degrees we're going to have, I know it says 15 on here, but the way that I placed it in, it's 15 plus 90, so 105. Now we can finish, pressing home on the keyboard to zoom to see all of it. And now when I press revolve, it will automatically do this. If for some reason you did not put in the center line right here, this will be pre-selected as red, and all you got to do is click on that line and it will revolve. Next, I'm going to create a sketch on the top, and I'm going to put a point directly on the origin, so I know it's right in the center. Now I'm going to use the hole tool. So for the hole tool, if you happen to be doing something else earlier, all of these numbers will be different or changed around in some way, but for mine, what I can do easily is see that I want the hole to be a simple hole. I want it to be a counter bore. And then, let's see, yep, I want distance, not all, through all. And I want the bottom to be flat. So right now we just kind of set up how the shape of it's going to be, but not the size. So now I can look at my different components. So these are currently the defaults of all of this, but this is not what I want. So looking over here, it's a little hard to see what's going to go where, because these are put in the opposite order that you would expect them to be in. It's actually putting the smaller diameter hole first and the larger diameter hole second. So if I'm looking at this, I'm actually going to look at the bottom for my diameter. And to select what you want to type, you just got to click on it. Alright, so my diameter for this is right here, so 0.875, and my height for that cutout is right here, So 0.75. Alright, my next one, if you're looking at the drawing itself, it's a little hard to see where it is because you have the total height minus this little portion here. So that gives us 1.5. And, oh, I have an error here. I guess I didn't delete the original one. There we go. And the last one is the diameter of this bottom portion. So this, if we're looking over here, alright, so that is this diameter. And that is, oh, make sure I delete it first, 0.375. Now I can click OK. And my part doesn't look like it has a hole going through it, so all I gotta do is kind of click on the home button or the corner, and then I can see what's going on. I'm going to click on the top, make sure I didn't accidentally cut a hole through the bottom, and that is our part.